The salinity of seawater versus the relative freshness of rivers, groundwater, and ponds is a topic that revolves around the water cycle, geological processes, and the unique environmental conditions of oceans. Here's a scientific breakdown of why seawater is salty and other types of water are generally fresh. Seawater's saltiness is primarily due to the dissolved salts it accumulates over millions of years. Most of this salt, especially sodium chloride, is derived from weathering of rocks on land. Here's how the process works. When rainwater falls on rocks, it reacts with minerals, breaking them down and creating ions. These ions, including sodium and chloride, are carried by rivers into the ocean. Chloride ions make up about 55% of the dissolved salts in seawater, while sodium ions constitute around 30%. Oceans act as a basin where these ions accumulate because there is no significant outlet. While water from the oceans evaporates, salts remain, increasing ocean salinity over time. This long-term accumulation is why seawater is salty, while freshwater bodies like rivers have comparatively low concentrations of dissolved salts. The global water cycle is responsible for redistributing water across Earth, but it plays a key role in the concentration of salts in seawater and their relative absence in freshwater. When seawater evaporates, it leaves salts and other minerals behind. This water then condenses to form clouds and eventually falls as rain, which is pure and does not carry salts back to land surfaces. When rainwater runs off into rivers, it carries very low concentrations of salts. However, because rivers and streams are constantly flowing toward larger water bodies and are regularly replenished by fresh rainwater, they don't accumulate salts as oceans do. Freshwater sources like rivers, ponds, and underground aquifers have different salinity levels due to constant water movement and renewal. The flowing nature of rivers is a key factor. Rivers continuously receive and transport water, which keeps dissolved salt concentrations low. This constant flow prevents salt from accumulating in the same way it does in the ocean. The salinity in rivers is typically around 0.5 parts per thousand, compared to 35 parts per thousand in the ocean. Underground water, or groundwater, originates from rain or surface water that seeps through soil and rock layers. While it may pick up some minerals along its journey, it usually doesn't acquire enough salts to become saline unless it's in contact with mineral-rich rocks or affected by human activities such as irrigation in arid regions. Ponds and lakes, like rivers, experience periodic replenishment with rainwater or runoff. Although some lakes can become saline, like the Dead Sea or Great Salt Lake, most freshwater lakes are not because they have either an outlet or a regular influx of fresh water. Saline lakes typically form in closed basins where water evaporates but doesn't flow out, allowing salts to concentrate. Certain geological factors contribute to the difference in salinity. Some water bodies, like certain lakes and seas, are located in closed basins where there is no natural outlet for water. Here, as in oceans, evaporation exceeds the rate of water replacement, causing salinity levels to rise. Groundwater that flows through or interacts with salt-rich minerals may become brackish or slightly salty, especially in areas near salt deposits or ancient marine beds. Seawater is salty because of the accumulation of dissolved salts primarily from land-based rock weathering, which gets transported to the oceans by rivers. Oceans retain these salts over time because there's no significant outlet, and evaporation leaves salts behind, concentrating them. In contrast, rivers, groundwater, and ponds are regularly replenished with fresh rainwater, keeping their salinity low. Geological factors and the natural flow of the water cycle play crucial roles in maintaining these differences in salinity.